Let's give Mary a 1 minute, okay, without everybody talking. We're going to dispense with the raffles, we're going to dispense with the games till after the show. And Mary wants to say a few words. She wants to introduce Tiny Tim. She wants to give you a little history about our relationship over the years. So please, stop talking at your tables. Give us your attention to Mary Lip, please.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, a few weeks ago, Jim asked if I would look up a little bit of information about Tiny Tim so I could tell you all the history and how it came about. By now you've all looked at the sheet that Jim passed out earlier that has the 10 top weddings of Aberdeen. Did everybody get a chance to look at that? Yeah. Okay, and I know that you all know that our most exciting one was Tiny Tim's wedding. So that's why he's here with us tonight, because we're having our 35th anniversary. And we do want to celebrate him being here with us. And I knew that a lot of you, I asked Jim how that came to be that we did Tiny Tim and Miss Vicky's wedding on December 17th, 1969. And I wondered, how Chicago florist came about, doing that wedding. So I asked Jim about it. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about that show, too. It said, let's see. That night, that wedding took an 85% share of the TV station's ratings. So it was a very large share of people watched that wedding that night. Probably the only wedding that was watched by more people was Princess Diana and Prince Charles' wedding, more than watched Tiny Tim's wedding. So it was quite an exciting event. In 1969, Tiny Tim was one of the most famous performers there was, and everybody knew about him, and everybody wanted to watch every show that he was on. So he was like on Rowan and Martin Laugh-In, and he was on Ed Sullivan, and he was on Johnny Carson quite a few times. And of course, Jim was watching those shows. So on the one night that Johnny Carson invited Tiny Tim to have his wedding on the station, Jim happened to be watching. And Jim said to himself, I want to be the florist that does that wedding. Now we all know that Jim is a very smart man, but I don't think they knew how smart he really was until he told me how he came about doing this. So he said what he did was he watched the TV that night. He sees, Tiny Tim, Tiptoe Through the Tulips, the famous song, and he says, Tulips, wedding, Aberdeen. I want to be the one to do that wedding. So the next morning he calls the brokers all over, and he realizes it was December, so tulips were not going to be in season. So he calls Holland, and he buys every tulip in Holland. So then after he's assured that he has all the tulips in Holland, he calls NBC. And he says, I'm Jim Harney from Chicago, from Aberdeen Wedding Flowers, and we'd like to be the florist that does the famous Tiny Tim wedding on TV. And of course they said, oh, no, we've got our own florist. We always use the same florist, NBC florist. We're not interested. And Jim said, well, that's okay, but if you need any tulips, I've got them all. So they said, no, we're not interested. So about a half hour later, Jim says, they called and they said, hello, Mr. Harney, would you like to do the wedding for Tiny Tim? So they flew Jim to California, and of course I'm sorry, New York. I didn't get all the details. So they flew him to New York, and a few days before the wedding, it was Jim and Bernice, who's with us, and Jim's wife, and he said there was a man named Bill Stevens, who was a friend of his who was a photographer. And they all went along and set up the wedding. He said there were 10,000 tulips. So there were 7,500 tulips set up at the wedding on the Johnny Carson show, which we have a picture that hangs behind Jim's desk, right here behind me, of the actual tulips. It's a beautiful picture. And then he said there was also 2,500 tulips at the reception. So they did a beautiful, beautiful job. And for Aberdeen's and for Jim said it was the highlight of his career when he knew that this wedding was being televised across national TV. There were more people watching this wedding than any other wedding. And then he said, Johnny Carson said, I've never seen such beautiful flowers. So Jim just said it was really the highlight of his career. And from there, Aberdeen has grown and grown, and we were able to say that we did Tiny Tim's wedding, and it was quite a big event for us. And we still say that today, 35 years later. This week, he was performing at the Quicksilver, which is a big club here in Chicago, and they said there were so many people there that they had to turn people away. So there's still people that are enjoying Tiny Tim's performance, and who want to come and see him like we all did tonight. Jim and Tiny were also on the Spike O'Dell radio show on WGN last Tuesday morning. I don't know if any of you got to hear that. I also found out that Tiny Tim has just returned from Sydney, Australia, where he did cut and release an album there. And the name of the album is Tiny Tim Rock. Maybe we'll hear a little bit of that tonight. And also, some of his newest songs that he's doing World War I songs. So that sounds interesting. And of course, we all know his famous song is Tiptoe Through the Tulips. So what I wanted to do is, without further ado, I wanted to introduce Tiny Tim. And the band that's with him tonight is the Ballingers, and they're here from Chicago. And they just told me that they're also flying out tonight to Las Vegas. So we're getting on with the show. So without further ado, let's give a large Aberdeen welcome to Tiny Tim. We're happy to have you, Tiny.
Thank you so much, my dear friends, for the lovely round of applause. And now, what was the name of that nice woman? Mr. Hardy, what was the name of that nice woman? Miss Mary? Miss Mary, thank you so much for that lovely announcement. You know, you learn every day, and I was amazed when Mr. Hardy came up with the album in my room today, the wonderful Holiday Inn here, and it was a really memory that can't be forgotten of that period of time. Despite what happened, the horse that she got, and despite the second wife, who knows where she is, I always remember the moments I met her, the moments that were divine. Met Miss Vicky on June 3rd, 1969. There were 2,000 people in Watermakers. It was a Tuesday afternoon, and I can't forget the great dress she was wearing. So I remember the great moments, not the moments of tragedy. However, because of you, the skies are blue. Beloved, because you smile, it's all worthwhile. Beloved, because we care, this goodbye cannot mean love will die. Wherever I go, I'll dream of my beloved, honey, because we care, this goodbye cannot mean love will die. Wherever I go, I'll dream of my beloved. Until the fields of time She's coming down like the when she comes. She'll drive and she's my horses when she comes. She'll drive and she's my horses when she comes. She'll drive and she's my horses, great big wild horses. She's driving and she's my horses when she comes. Oh, go out and know when she comes. Yes, oh, go out and know when she comes. Yes, oh, go out and meet her. We'll all go out and meet her. We'll all go out and know when she comes. And we'll take the red, red rooster when she comes. Yes, we'll take the red, red rooster when she comes. Yes, take the red, red rooster, the one that used to use her. We'll take the red, red rooster when she comes. She'll wear and sing the jammers when she comes. She'll wear and sing the jammers when she comes. She'll wear and sing the jammers. She's wearing silver jammers. She's wearing silver jammers when she comes. And I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. And I've been working on the railroad to pass the time away. But can't you hear the whistle blowing? Or get up early in the morning? But can't you hear the people singing? I gotta know your heart. Someone's in the kitchen with someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with sucking on the old banjo, singing please bye, I-O, please bye, I-O, please bye, I-O, on the old banjo. And I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day. And I've been working on the railroad to pass the time away. I can't hear the whistle blowing. I get up early in the morning. I can't hear the people sing. I can't know your heart. Won't you come home, little baby? Won't you come home? She's on home and alone. Why, I'll give her a kiss, honey, I'll pay the rent. I know I got you wrong. Remember the rainy evening I called you out. There's nothing but a fight you home. I know I ain't to blame, but ain't that a shame? The baby wants to be down home. Won't you come home, little baby? Won't you come home? She knows the home is long. I'll give you the money, honey. I'll pay the rent. I know I got you wrong. Remember the rainy evening I called you out. There's nothing but a fight you home. I know I ain't to blame, but ain't that a shame? The baby wants to be down home. Don't tell me that time to shake on sweet sauce around. You let me the most of me that sweet sauce around. Lay on time, one time for sweet sauce around. I'll tell you why. Now you know I don't lie. That's my father. She said she knocks her neck when she lands in town. Since she came, it's a shame how she moving down. There is she ain't yet, must be brother she ain't met. Georgia finger, Georgia name the sweet Georgia Brown. I don't believe my papa, 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 papa. People are papa, papa, people are papa, now young lady has got to sit on sweet sauce around. She left me an old so we get sweet sauce around. They don't try to water down for sweet sauce around. I'll tell you why. Now you know I don't lie. That much water is been searching up to here when she lands in town. Since she came, it's a shame how she puts her down. Tell her she can't get must be first year met. Georgia ain't the Georgia ain't the sweet sauce around. From these days, young as me honey. Some of these days, girl be so lonely. You miss my hugging, honey. You miss my kissing. You be so sorry when I'm away. You're gonna be lonely, just for me only. 'Cause you know, honey, you had your way. And when you leave, you're never gonna leave me. You miss a little honey. Some of me say, honey, I've been away from you a long time. I never thought I'd miss your call. But somehow I feel your love is real. Dear you, I Mammy, Mammy, I love the old folks at home, my little Swanee. How I love you, my dear old Swanee. I'd give the world to be among the folks. I guess I even know my Mammy. She waited for me, praying for me, down by the Swanee. So come on, let him see me now. When I get to that Swanee song, why Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer. Why I'm crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a marriage. But you look sweet on the seat of a bicycle for two of a diamond crowd. I'm crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage. But you look sweet on the seat of a bicycle for you. Why, Casey would walk with a strawberry bomb and the band played on. He climbed past the floor with the girl he adored and the band played on. His brain was so loaded, it nearly exploded. The poor girl would shake with alarm. He's there with the girl with the strawberry girl and the band played on. He flies through the air with the greatest hurry, the scary young man on the flying trapeze. Oh, girlie, he surely does please my lucky ass.